seeds, usually coming from Division B, will start in like the lower bracket, and they, as if they had already lost. And so that's the advantage of being in Division A. It's pretty rewarding to be the top seed there, and it's pretty punishing to be the very bottom seed of everyone in the playoffs. And so we're going to be looking forward to that next week, where we get to see players directly move up and down, and ultimately finding the second player to join us for the World Championship this year.
Yeah. And relegation bracket is also the same weekend as playoff bracket.
That is true. All facts.
Spitting hard facts at you, Dan. All right. Don't feel like there's too much hope for lnguahackr in this one. You just got a lot of dead cards in the matchup. Double Acidic Swamp Ooze, double Cobalt Sticky Finger, double Cartooth Defender. There's, again, one strategy for this deck. That's to beat weapon classes. Doesn't do well against decks that have a lot of tempo or overwhelming value. But it's still possible. I wouldn't say this is like 80-20 or a matchup that's ridiculous like that, but I would put it like 60-65% Mage favor because of the text from bloodyface, or sorry, lnguahackr.
Yeah, that makes sense. And overall, it does feel like this Mage is very much well equipped to beat Priest, even if it doesn't have weapon removal tech in it. That makes it more awkward. So, yeah, definitely on board with that. lnguahackr finds Evasive Feywing, which actually could be a really problematic card for Mage to deal with.
I wonder.
Yeah, comes out on 3 also, which is quite good. Devolving Missiles. That's the one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a way to really make this one hurt. And from lnguahackr's side, he doesn't really have a way to really develop super meaningfully onto the board right now. He's got Cleric of Scales, and that's it.
What is Elun's will? On wings of
So then what could he really even pick up here? Like some utility spells like the Wave of Apathy, the Apotheosis. Draconic Studies is also a little interesting to think about.
On wings of destruction they come.
Raised Dead just to keep this Cleric of Scales train rolling. I think Soulmere.
Yeah, Soulmere makes the most sense just for the long term. Oh, he is going to go with the Raised Dead.
Oh, well, I mean, if you do this, you can just play your Cleric of Scales again and then get Soulmere's.
That is true.
Just takes a little more time. Oh. Evolving Missiles here? Oh, this is so good! And he picked Raised Dead!
That's hilarious.
Oh!
Wait, it only targeted the same thing 3 times.
That's not good. I love to play, but bloodyface is not rewarded for it.
Aww. lnguahackr finds the opportunity to drop this Evasive Feywing. Could end up coining out the Cobalt Spellkin. It kind of depends on the order that he wants to do it on. I think I like the Evasive Feywing now to establish board presence. I guess the issue is that you can't really do much with it. Like part of the problem with a dragon like Evasive Feywing is that you yourself can't heal it, you can't buff it, you can't do a lot with it at all. Okay, it looks like lnguahackr wants to guarantee that he has the Cleric of Scales and some tempo. Doesn't want to be stuck with just the Imp and the Evasive Feywing, for example.
Astromancer Solarian is always the one that I love.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. That was a true statement.
What to do?
I was not deceiving you. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I like Archmage better.
Yeah.
No.
I guess it's just the idea that Blood Mage Thanos has really fallen to the wayside of like the preferred 2-mana spell damage minion,
I wonder.
even though it's still pretty solid in its own right.
He's thinking it through, though. Seen multiple Cleric of Scales. He doesn't want his Astromancer to get stolen by a Cabal Acolyte. Plus Wave of Apathy. But I suppose it'd be the same for Blood Mage Thanos, honestly. Yeah, I think you just go for it. Also, just the possibility that Bloodyface was... also thinking about what the rest of the turn would have looked like. Downside of the Evasive Baywing, as shown here, is that Language Hacker cannot heal it to be able to get value trades. I suppose the same goes for not being able to ping it on Bloodyface's side, but ping does 1 damage, heal heals 2 damage. Basic math lets me determine that it's more of a downside for the priest. Can't apotheosis it either. Maybe just go full tempo here. Coin out the Cobalt Spellkin. All right. Oh, Breath of the Infinite.
It's a nice one.
And Holy Smite. Both of these deal with the Astromancer Solarian and protect his evasive Feywind.
On wings of
I
destruction
like it.
they come.
Well, I guess this does protect the Feywing as well, but, you know, again, this Feywing's problematic for the Mage to deal with right now, and Bloodyface is just going to be taking 5 a turn.
Yeah.
Finds the Skystalker for turn 5 if he wants to. Now Bloodyface has to basically work with what he's got. So Wand Thief. Magic Trick. Devolving Missiles again. That is certainly interesting.
Yeah, there's also another Primordial Studies. But the way his hand is looking, probably wants to go for a mana cycle next turn. Which lets me think that just a ping on the 1/1 and then devolving. Oh, never mind. Guess he values the Primordial Studies. Wants more minions on board.
Well, does he have enough mana to play like all this stuff before the mana cyclone, right? That's kind of the question. Also, like if he finds Sorcerer's Apprentice, it ties everything together. But if he doesn't, what does his turn look like with how much mana he needs to spend?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Dragon Ball Skystalker is still hard to deal with. Language Hacker just kind of following the tempo line here, and Bloodyface has to find a way to respond to it. Chinvala comes into the hand.
Another Astromancer. Keep him coming.
Okay.
Keep him coming.
Yeah, but it's not really fixing the issue that Bloodyface is just falling behind tempo and going to be taking 10 a turn. And
It will
Language
fix
Hacker's
it.
going to kill him.
Just give it time. It'll fix
Okay.
anything.
How much
Solarian
time?
Prime fixes anything.
It's true. Solarian Prime is really the duct tape of Mage decks. Just kind of, no matter how bad it is, it works with everything. Should fix up anything that you really do, no matter how broke it is. Just think that he's not going for Solarian at all, I guess because he wants to maximize his charges off of the Mana Soak alone and find some pretty good stuff.
Those are all good.
All right, Language Hacker going to keep following the curve here. Finds Embalming Ritual, which is pretty nice with the Death Rattle, but opens himself up to another Devolving Vessels.
Yep. Got a Matrix dodge it once again. Ooh, Source of
There's
Apprentice.
a way to
All
guarantee it. All right, here we go. Okay. Another Astromancer Solarian.
What is he working towards?
Oof.
Like, what's the payoff here with the Source of Apprentice?
Right, with the lack of Chinvala.
Yeah, he didn't
I guess
play
he knows
Chinvala.
that there's a, no. He knows about the Soul Mirror, right? There's a possibility of Soul Mirror, so.
Then why would he play the Source of Apprentice at all? Well, for Evocation, I guess there's my answer. Wow!
Cheap Spell City. Spellbender, which messes with the Soul Mirror, gonna force the coin off of Language Hacker. Another Wind Portal as well. Big tempo swing coming out of this Mage deck. Language Hacker is ready for it though.
I just felt like the Sorcerer's Apprentice was unnecessary. The Sorcerer's Apprentice and the Evocation were both unnecessary.
So you wanted to just play a couple of spells and then Mana Giant?
Yeah, you could have had this exact same board. No Netherwind Portal, no Spellbender, no Sorcerer's Apprentice. And more cards in hand. The Sorcerer's Apprentice payoff was Spellbender. That's it.
Well, if his opponent didn't have Soul Mirror, he'd be in a really good spot, but...
It would be 3 less damage on board, even if he didn't have Soul Mirror. It's not like he's setting up for 2-turn lethal.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I like the idea of holding on to Sorcerer's Apprentice and the Evocation with the Chenvala in hand. I think that gives it a lot of actual legs.
Yeah, like he has Soul Mirror here, and then you have Sorcerer's Apprentice and Shinvala and Evocation in hand. That's your reload. Boom. Done. Now, what's his reload?
There it is. He
There
also
it
has
is.
Arcane Intellect.
All right.
And the Ras.
I guess there it is.
Solid enough. It's not amazing by just what you see, but potential for it to be better.
I wonder.
Language Hacker doesn't have many good proactive plays, but he does have Wand Maker to help generate spells, finds Holy Smite. It's not enough to really address this board by itself, but maybe in tandem with another card. Second Holy Smite? Oh, there's also Spellbender, which he isn't 100% confirmed on yet. I think the challenge is if he doesn't play Cobalt Sticky Finger here, he's just going to start falling very far behind on board. But at the same time, if he doesn't, if his opponent extends really far, he has to play Death, so I guess he feels okay with that.
Yeah, I feel okay with just a healed pass. I was trying to convince myself there to play something more, but I just couldn't. So, and I'm Language Hacker in this hypothetical scenario that I just mentioned.
I don't believe you.
A dream that I have
not
a
enough.
lot.
There's not enough clapping in that analysis.
I'm just walking around Canada.
Trying to convince
Clapping.
myself not to play a minion. But I couldn't. There you go. Plague of Death shuts this down.
There it is. No third
And-
Solarian Prime for you, buddy.
Cold in here.
That's right.
Is it just me?
Prime me once, shame on you.
Oh,
Prime me
geez,
twice.
evocation.
Oh, another evocation.
It's like the 4th Devolving Missiles, too. Ah, that was bound to be an Astromancer Solarian. Unlucky.
Maybe go for the Mana Cyclone at this point, or do you want to just play the Azure Explorer? I think Azure Explorer makes sense because then you can play spells into the Mana Cyclone the following turn. Oh, he played 4 spells here already? Yeah, so he can go for the Mana Cyclone.
Yep.
Wow!
Just Pyroblast 2 turns in a row. Easy.
All right.
What's he gonna do? Play an Ooze?
I'm having flashbacks to the old Freeze Mage that used to play 2 Pyroblasts in their deck. I mean, Language Hacker is probably gonna like play Wave of Apathy and stuff, and then Bloodyface is gonna Pyroblast, and Language Hacker is gonna be like, "Oh no, I'm gonna die," and Bloodyface is like, "Yeah," and that's gonna be game number 1.
And your ability to tell stories is unmatched. Language Hacker's
Thank
like,
you.
whoa, Wave of Apathy. Bloodyface is like, oh no, Pyroblast. Language Hacker's like, oh no, I'm dead. Bloodyface is like, yeah,
I cry every time.
I cry every time.
Wow, no card 2 defender. Instead, willing to. I mean, to be fair, you don't really expect Pyroblast here. But
I don't think he's going to Pyroblast just because the threat of
yeah,
Apotheosis.
And this
He
is
can,
also
however.
sneakier to set this up this way.
Shinvala, go nuts with Sorcerer Apprentice.
I like it.
Spellwing,
Spellwing
Evocation. Keep them coming. There's a Fireball,
Whoa.
Brain Freeze,
Fireball.
Arcane Breath, Magic Trick.
Is there a chance
there a
for
kitchen
Maple
sink
this
in there?
turn? The spectating can't even keep up with how fast Bloodyface is playing. Also, fun fact, Bloodyface almost played all of his cards from Evocation. It's not every turn you get to see an Evocation where all the options were available to be played. Yeah. Okay, almost lethal. Almost lethal. And Language Hacker is dead.
I guess the first Sorcerer's Apprentice was fine after all.
Language Hacker's like, okay, maybe I survive. Because on board he does. But we know about the Pyroblast. Bloodyface 1-0 over Language Hacker.
Ooh, a new style of clapping. I like that one. Language
That's right.
Hacker pulling out all the stops.
That's right. And Bloodyface, 1 game closer to be able to get that crucial win and set himself up to potentially avoid that relegation bracket. But there's still a lot of more Hearthstone play, and we do recognize that Language Hacker, he's not really occupied about the Mage. He's not occupied about Demon Hunter or the Priest. He just wants that Warrior. And so that does lead us to our next intermission. We're going to take a few minutes and get set. And then when we come back, we're going to have game number 2 between Language Hacker and Bloodyface. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the final day of Hearthstone Grandmasters of the regular season.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile.
Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile.
Dumb compliment? Well,
I'm very proud that I'm able to cook minute rice in 50 seconds.
I can remember one from where I was back in high school. Somebody was trying to open a pen. Super trivial.
When I used to win a bunch of card game competitions and I was like 10, 11, everybody else was 17, 18.
All the strong kids in the class tried to open that pen, and none of them could get it done.
I won tennis tournament, so it's for me it's an achievement.
I was like, give it to me. And I looked at it for like 10 seconds, played a little around with it, and I was like, here. I was really proud of it in that moment.
Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Grandmasters. It's the final day of the regular season, and we're currently in the last couple of matches. bloodyface going up against lnguahackr right now, and game number 2, we're going to see if lnguahackr can turn things around, but we do anticipate that bloodyface is very likely to go up to 0. Oh, we're going to go straight to the warrior.
Yeah, I like this. Just get it, rip off the
Mixing it up.
Band-Aid, get it over with.
Yeah. Wow, that's definitely one way to approach it, I would say. The other is, this is the last day of Hearthstone Grandmasters. Who will be able to come out the champion? Who will survive? Who will overcome? Or we can say, yeah, just get it over with. There's two kinds of people right now watching Hearthstone in terms of bloodyface versus language hacker. I appreciate your candid analysis, though, because in the end, this is what really matters. Can bloodyface win with the warrior?
Yep. And yeah, language hacker. Only really one card worth keeping, and that's Kobold Sticky Finger.
Cobalt Sticky Finger, but I mean, bloodyface might find ways to win without getting his weapon stolen. He might just try to tempo his opponent out. He has a double Evil Quartermaster build available to him, but he did play the Risky Skipper on 1. And Risky Skipper on 1 is interesting because not too many ways that you can capitalize upon it within most warrior decks. And bloodyface is no exception. He doesn't have, say, a Inner Rage and a Shield of Honor. But he can kill this he can kill this Wild Pyromancer.
Or not.
Interesting.
What is a loon's will?
So, don't think I necessarily like Mind Flayer here on the Risky Skipper, just because having a Risky Skipper in your Mind Flayer may have a more of a downside than an upside. Whatever.
I don't think it's there.
It's on curve.
Yeah, it seems to come down to this, whether or not bloodyface can perhaps get enough damage going. I do think that the Risky Skipper does provide logistical challenges. Oh wow, the bomb immediately drawn. That's not good, I think. I think bloodyface wanted to capitalize on the Blastmaster Boom in his hand. But for language hacker, it's great. So I can see who you're rooting for, DJ.
Of course, their cash in this instance kind of coming out a little bit of a downside, because otherwise he'd have a chance to get both swings of the Wrench Caliber out of the way prior to Kobold Sticky Finger being a threat. And Kobold Sticky Finger much worse for bloodyface in this instance than Acidic Swamp Ooze, because it cuts off his ability to play Horde Pillager. At least until he destroys his second Wrench Caliber, because it'll be stolen and won't be destroyed.
This will break your bones.
Alright, well, Evil Quartermaster maybe be able to find a way to answer back onto the board. And again, the Kobold Lackey. His fingers are washed clean. They're not sticky, but they good enough to take care of this board state. So it begins.
Womp womp. I'm gonna stick ya.
Get stuck. You sucker.
Get stuck, nerd. Yep. Alright, now needs second Wrench Caliber off the top.
This will break your bones.
Suppose a Shield Slam will have to do.
Yeah, you can Shield Slam, you can play the Lackey, still try to find a way to get tempo, still has the classic Dr. Boom. With one Bomb Shuffle into the deck, still has a possibility they can play OG Dr. Boom. Back in 2014, an expansion was released that gave us the first variant of Dr. Boom that just summoned 2 Boom Bots. And that was considered to be the most powerful 7-mana minion that you could possibly play.
It was in every deck.
It was in every deck, and it was appropriately so. Dr. Boom looked really powerful when you saw it in practice. Some people thought it was really weak. Some people even said that maybe if those boom bots had taunt, it'd be better, it'd be playable then. I thought was pretty hilarious. Obviously, it's so easy to say now. And lnguahackr just trying to stall for as long as possible. He's using the upgrade, preparing the way.
Aggressive.
For Dr. Boom.
Aggressive.
High-level commentary being provided by TJ Sanders in the house.
B.
DJ, what do you think about that play?
B-E, aggressive.
He's going to prioritize the raised at first and see if he can get the things he wants. He doesn't find the other Pyromancer, but he gets the Risky Skipper and the Mind Flare. I guess Risky Skipper and Pyromancer both function similarly, although lnguahackr would have to play more spells versus minions. He can go for most of the board clear if he chooses to use the Renew here, but he does give a bunch of armor to bloodyface.
I don't think he really cares so much about the armor.
Oh, Draconic Studies is a board clear. That way he does not have to care about the Wave of Apathy being used.
I wonder.
Probably thinking about Gift of Luminance if there's any relevance for that. I don't think Mind Control is very good in the matchup. Okay. Bloodyface drawing the bomb very quickly. Blastmaster Boom. Kronk's Dragon of Deathwing. I mean, these are the best cards in Bloodyface's deck.
Yeah.
And Blastmaster Boom is a lot worse when your opponent already has the ability to kill it on board. He knows there's another minion in the hand because of Raised Dead. But one thing that we aren't talking about is that lnguahackr might run out of stuff to play.
Yeah.
What now?
So Bloodyface thinking about two things. Should I play Krunks or should I play Blastmaster Boom? Blastmaster Boom summons two 1/1 boom bots onto the field. There's very little chance it gets that much better. And generally speaking, Blastmaster Boom is at its best when you can play it immediately. Whoa! Okay, I wasn't thinking about this. Bloodyface hero powers and passes.
Oh.
DJ, can you break this down and
He's setting up for
decipher this
Deathwing
for
Mad
me?
Aspect. You kind of said the pros and cons. If he plays Kronks, eating up on board. Plays Blastmaster Boom, eating up on board. Play Deathwing Mad Aspect, and then follow it up with those other things. Force him to deal with threat, then threat, then threat, then threat. And then right when you slam your opponent in the face for 12 with your Deathwing Mad Aspect, the bomb comes off the top. And it was perfect lethal. Oh, wow. Mind Flayer cards in the Armor Smith.
Now
really matters.
lnguahackr, I mean, he's just winning on the sheer tempo and hoping that, from Bloodyface's side, he's really hoping that this Deathwing can go far. Nice. Bloodyface not swinging with the axe. lnguahackr finds the second Draconic Studies. I guess he's going to go ahead and search for a dragon. That's a good one. There's a lot of good ones in here, actually. Murzon's particularly interesting to me because you can play Wake of Apathy with it right now. And you can summon a 12/12.
Yeah, honestly, that seems pretty good. Though you're kind of playing into Bloodyface's removal.
Yeah, now these dragons don't let the priest really run out of resources here.
Just let them answer it right now.
So he ends up going for the guaranteed trade here and floating pretty decent amount of mana, but he keeps his options open. Like Wave of Apathy still has a lot of application the moment he picks up Cabal Acolyte. And now Bloodyface does have a board clear with Bladestorm, and he can play the Kronk's Dragonhoof.
Yeah, just give 7 armor.
Yeah, but counterpoint, you have the board now. And he can play Galakron, he can Hero Power next turn, he can start chipping away.
Excellent counterpoint, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
You don't pick the wand, see?
Okay, the Wand Maker is the immediate reaction here
that's
from Language
good.
Hacker. I was kind of thinking about the Skeletal Dragon here as well. It looks like the Language Hacker is going to go for it. Knowing that it's likely that Bloodyface is going to kill it off if he doesn't use a Wave of Apathy, which he does end up pulling the trigger on. Alright. I mean, Language Hacker is ready to go. So maybe you play Galakron now. Galakron gets the investment damage in, and then you can use the weapon plus the hero power from Galakron to potentially punch through the Skeletal Dragon. Armor Smith.
I think he was probably hoping for like Dr. Krasnov, maybe.
Yeah, just something better than the Armor Smith, because there's not many minions left, you're right. It's just
There's
that or the Risky Skipper.
Risky Skipper, Dr. Krasnov, Lord Barov, or Armor Smith.
A simple spell.
Well, Language Hacker can once again go for another Wave of Apathy here just to control the tempo and even pick up value trades. The Apotheosis also looks pretty solid. Looking for any way here for Language Hacker to potentially extend his lead on the board.
It's tough because you don't want to throw too many resources. Because you don't want to get blown out of the game by a potential like 1 brawl by Bloodyface, right? You want to make sure that you always have something else to do the following turn in case that happens. Alagos.
Okay. Bloodyface finds the Reg Caliber, which is that incidentally a really good thing? Let me see, because if he does, he can now Corsair catch the Anchor and get value off of that, and kind of set up a dynamic where Language Hacker, if he Cobalt Sticky Fingers the Anchor, then Bloodyface might be cleared with the Wrench Caliber to swing a couple times. And I think that's what Bloodyface is thinking right now.
I don't think Language Hacker will ever Cobalt Sticky Finger and Anchor, though.
Right, which means that Bloodyface can capitalize off of that.
Yeah. There's Versus Keeper left in his deck, so he's pulling a resource here. Problem for Bloodyface is that this board is still just alive.
Right, and now Language Hacker
for a victory.
Yeah, he's at 37 armor. There's a realistic chance that he ends with above 30 life this game. He is in a dominant position, to say the least.
Yeah.
Healing his taunt minion, knowing that Bloodyface has to attack into it. Picks up Raised Dead. Not really super important right now, but it is funny that he has an opportunity to get even more weapon removal if he desires. that's good too. The evasive Feywing is very good to push the tempo. Has a choice between Holy Smite and trading a minion. I think he wants to start playing around Brawl a little bit, so this makes sense. He can heal back to Skeletal Dragon, set back up. And this is the challenge that Bloodyface finds himself in. Yep. Not to mention that Skeletal Dragon has single-handedly provided half of the threats on the board, plus Language Hacker getting deeper into the value pool. This is just looking really, really awkward for Bloodyface, and I'm already kind of sensing the fact that Bloodyface probably wants to eject out of this one soon.
What about?
I don't even know what the play is here. Still a bomb in the deck, right? Yep. So Blastmaster Boom's still active. But what is it even doing? There's no Pirates in the deck, so he can't draw anything out with the Ankar. Bladestorm, this is just like the worst health totals, 1358.
I am unbreakable, but time is fleeting.
There is not a single good play this turn, it feels.
Yeah, I mean, there's no good way to kind of cut this. Bloodyface looks like he's just in trouble. A pass.
Yep.
Oh, boy. It's ugly. I can't even start to count how many mana crystals Bloodyface has been floating this game because of just the logistical challenges he has between the ability to swing the face and not.
Now, Language Hacker, I mean, he's not really incentivized to do anything either. The only thing he has to think about is, I need to play a card so that the Skeletal Dragon doesn't fill up my hand and burn potentially like an ooze. Maybe just like play a Keeper Steladris here. I wouldn't even mind like Malagos. Any minion that's not Kobold Sticky Finger, I think. The Malagos, or I guess Evasive Feywing and Malagos are both activating the cleric skills. Who needs to dump a card though after this? Oh, the bomb! Oh, the ooze!
Yeah, and now Bloodyface says
no Ankar, no Blastmaster Boom active. If he Wrench Calibers to try and get the Blastmaster Boom active, it gets stickies. The end.
Bloodyface concedes. Language Hacker targeting that warrior. Working out so far. Step 1 complete. And does end up getting the win with that priest deck. He is left with his Warlock and his Druid. Remember, he is playing Control Galacron Warlock. He is playing Quest Fatigue Druid. Some pretty unusual stuff. And it is our T-Mobile deck spotlight for that Warlock. So we'll see if Language Hacker can get that win, because TJ and I definitely are looking at that deck and kind of wondering how effective can it actually be, because we do see some matchups where it feels like the Druid and the Warlock might not be as consistent, but clearly Language Hacker has enough faith that he wants to put his eggs in this basket and try to get that win with the Fatigue Druid, featuring Lucent Bark, Archivist Elysiana, Untapped Potential, the Quest, and some other goodies like Arcspore Mischifin.
This one felt like the one that
brother.
Just
I must protect.
I don't see how Bomb Warrior wins. Like, there's just so many ways for you to stabilize, for you to even make up for the fact that if you don't draw Kobold Sticky Finger, like it's just difficult for Warrior. But we are going to see Demon Hunter, and this Demon Hunter I do feel like has a great matchup against this Druid. I guess the Acidic Swamp and Kobold Sticky Finger don't matter that much. Lucent Bark is not super relevant, because by the time Lucent Bark comes down, Consume Magic has likely been picked up, and you invest 8 mana into something that gets ruined for 1 mana. But again, like this deck can just kind of run away with things, and Language Hacker, because Demon Hunter gets off to a relatively slow start, can afford to just completely pass a turn, because Bloodyface is very likely to just hero power. He gets quest progress with the coin, then gets quest progress by passing, and then has a turn where he can Wrath. And then has Oasis Surge or Nourish, which are the 2 cards that you can capitalize the most off of.
That's right. Well, I mean, he's going to take some punishment for a little bit of time, as you don't really generally play many cards. You have to be floating extra mana crystals for the first few turns of the game. But, you know, Language Hacker, for example, even having the Oasis Surger is really, really nice.
Yep.
Some of the matches that we've kind of tested and played back and forth, it felt like the Quest Druid actually does have some reasonable game just to kind of stick onto the board. And even find ways to just win through sheer tempo. Kind of wild to think that Oasis Surger is considered not good enough right now, even though when the Oasis Surger, like when Quest Druid was really powerful, Oasis Surger was just like the defining thing, right? Like similar to how Guardian Animals was defining for turn 7 or turn 4 for a lot of decks.
Yeah.
It seems like Oasis Surger was like that too. Okay.
Language Hacker loves to see those Soul Fragments come out, but still some in the deck, because he did play Marrow Slicer as well as Spirit Jailer early on in this game. I feel like this is just as simple as attack and then Gladebound Adept, but he's a little bit weak to Oasis Surger. He wouldn't have a great answer to it the following turn. If Language Hacker can safely play Nourish on 6, I feel like Bloodyface is in for a world of hurt, because that's when everything comes online.
Demons.
Groundskeeper heal, Hidden Oasis, which is just nutty.
Time grows short.
Kind of debating if, oh wow. He's gonna go in.
Oh yeah,
On aggression.
Yeah. Wait, this is
Whoa.
that's 12.
Oh my gosh.
Look at Language Hacker's face. Is this is that a clap?
No. That's a
clap?
nod. That's an appreciation for damage.
He's saying
Oh my goodness.
respect, but
It's like, all right. And then Bloodyface is like, I have more damage, and Language Hacker has more heal.
well, he was comfortable parting ways with the Consume Magic there because he has Kane. And he figures if Lucibark comes out, that's 8 mana that he's spending without healing. He can likely push through with Kane just for lethal.
Right. Language Hacker has Nourish ready on 6. He gives up his ability to activate the Steel Beetle, though.
He'll find a way to activate it.
Okay.
He can also Wrath and then draw another card. Take care of this Gladebound Adept. See, there you go.
Nice.
Starfall. Wardmare's Purifier also interesting. You've seen a Marrow Slicer. Wardmare's Purifier transforms all the neutral cards in your deck into class cards. So in this case, just other Druid class cards. It's just to make his tech cards useful in other matchups, because Cobalt Psychic Finger and Acidic Swamp Ooze aren't useful in every matchup. I wonder like how aggressive he feels he can play that.
Well, he's pushing the damage, and I mean, Language Hacker doesn't have too many ways to. Oh wow!
Just
I was gonna say that Language Hacker does have the Acidic Swamp Ooze to stop it, but I mean, he's got so many more ways to disrupt the main game plan for bloodyface, and he's going to mount up this pressure. He's got the Oasis Surger now. This is 18 damage showing. But bloodyface does have this second Adraki Warblades.
Does, but he has to kind of go into a defensive posture here. Because he can't just leave this stuff on the board. He's not going to kill him fast enough. He has to like Charge Shatter Mystic and then Soul Shear, Wandmaker, Hero Power?
You don't pick the ones, see?
Take off one of the ooh, second Consume Magic. All right.
Okay. So he does end up stabilizing the amount of damage that's on the board here. Cleans up a bunch of stuff. Language Hacker can simply set it all back up. Finds Hidden Oasis, a huge pickup. I guess debating if he needs to play it now versus prioritizing other cards for tempo like his second Oasis Surger.
Yeah, I think he can like Oasis Surger Groundskeeper here.
Or Oasis Surger Starfall. Set up lethal.
Both set up lethal.
Yeah, it's true. I guess the Starfall keeps it healthier so that you can't get cleared by the second form of AoE, but this is also great because you can heal yourself in the process.
Time waits for no one.
I guess if he's not gonna play Groundskeeper, he should have just Starfalled then, huh?
A flew gone.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So he wants to set up for lethal. Bloodyface does not have a way to kill. Skull will down off the top.
Warlock.
But he needs a little bit of help here. No Blade Dance. And
that's
Druid
game.
just kind of, Druid just getting there on tempo. And this is kind of what we talked about, which was sometimes the deck just starts to overwhelm because it just has too much value off of all their cards. You get to choose everything. Groundskeeper, of course, being a pretty clutch heal as well. Bloodyface looks like he's out muscled.
It's not game, right? Because he can Penflinger the 5/2, Consume Magic the 5/5, and then Penflinger the 5/2 again. That leaves 12 power on board.
Yeah, sure, he's not dead right now.
I'm not dead yet.
Not yet. Getting there, though. 12 on the board. Finds a Nourish.
It's like, is there lethal out? No, absolutely not. There is if
Yeah, he
he
doesn't
Worm
have
Breath
to.
Purifiers and then Nourishes. There's lethal outs.
Yeah, and it seems like he's in a really good spot no matter what he does. He's very much confident that 20 is okay, and it should be. Even with two ideal Skull of Gul'dan targets.
There is a Sociologist Militia in hand. There's only 3 soul fragments.
Yeah, this is still looking pretty bad though, and requires Bloodyface to get a Lapidary in order to get this across the finish line, and does not seem to be the case here. Sociologist Militia summons 4, so that means he can Soul Shard Lapidary, Adraki Warblade, Sociologist Militia, and would be able to survive. Surviving isn't winning though.
Only summons
Just
3.
stalling.
Actually, he can survive. If he goes Marrow Slicer Hero Power, he's alive at 1.
Pathetic. Put some soul into it. Such a beautiful shield.
Full trade down with some of the rushers and then pushing 8. Goes up to 13, 12 on the board, saying you don't have 1 point of damage, and he's right, but I mean, he's got bigger problems.
He's right,
Speaking
but
Ghidra.
does he even want to be right?
Yeah. All right. Bloodyface down to 1 HP. Druid almost healing the full. And you can see how this counter deck really is pretty effective at stalling the Demon Hunter and getting the heals up. It's not even about Warrior at this point. Perhaps even showcasing how Language Hacker was feeling about the Monsanto matchup that Monsanto was able to get through, and how Language Hacker's 3-0 might have been very unfortunate for him.
Yep. Oh my god, he's alive at 1 again.
Wow, he's hanging in there, TJ.
Oh no, he's not. Never mind. He's dead. Yeah, because you can't go in. You can't go into negative health and then go back up. Nah, he was dead no matter what. Alright. If he had an Ace Hunter Kreen there, maybe. But alas. Alright, all comes down to the T-Mobile deck spotlight of the day, Dan. That Galakrond
Yes, the
Warlock,
Warlock.
Language Hacker to pull Language Hacker across the finish line and into a higher seed here. The Language Hacker does win. It means that he would finish 3rd seed. Wow. Quite good.
Yep. Eddie is 3-4. Muzzy is 4-3. Or sorry, Muzzy is 5-1. No Hands Gamer is 4-3. Killen is 3-3. Language Hacker is 3-3. Saint's 3-4. So yeah, Language Hacker losing here would put him in a tie with Monsanto and Eddie, which is not what he wants. Just wants to get that win instead. His Galakrond Warlock's looking like it. And Bloodyface, who wrote a pretty long message on social media about how, you know, if he does get relegated, he talks a little about his future plans. And people are saying, well, if you get relegated, you know, aren't you like a person that's going to be likely to re-qualify through the Masters Tour? And he says, yeah, but I'm just preparing myself for it. It feels like mentally Bloodyface is already accepting the fact that he would win the first season and then potentially be a candidate for relegation. Of course, that's assuming that he's going to lose all of his matches next week. And that would require a pretty unlikely set of scenarios since Bloodyface is that good, but at the same time, this is definitely a cold streak we've been seeing Bloodyface that we're not used to.
Yeah, it's very weird, honestly, to look at it and think back to how dominant he was, even at the beginning of the season. Just looking back at the Swiss, like, it's kind of crazy. But still got to come down to this match. I mean, he's got to win 2 games in a row, with Bomb Warrior against 2 decks that are not 2 in a row with Bomb Warrior, but he's got to win with Bomb Warrior against a deck that's specifically designed to beat it. Then he's got to win with Demon Hunter against a deck that, while not specifically designed to beat it, still has a lot of tools that help beat it.
I'll show you who's
Tall task. And this match has implications for Bloodyface. If he loses, he will be in the first relegation match against Just Saiyan. If he wins, it would knock Monsanto down to play that first relegation match in the relegation bracket against Just Saiyan. So Monsanto's also got a lot riding on Language Hacker here.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Bloodyface goes for the goes for the Corsair Cash. Gets the Anchor. The nice thing, though, is that Language Hacker can't really respond unless he responds with Ooze, which gives bloodyface an opportunity to use Horde Pillager. But if Language Hacker doesn't destroy this weapon, bloodyface gets the ability to Horde Pillager anyways. Just maybe not on the turn that he wants to, or not necessarily next turn because he would want to swing with it immediately as opposed to kind of leave it up to his opponent. So Horde Pillager can actually get some value here. You can just go ahead and play the Anchor instead just to set it up, and Language Hacker happy to see it. Anchor means no Wrench Caliber. Not out of the woods, though.
No. He got his life taps out of the way early, though. It means he's got a lot of resources to work with over the coming turns. He's got Moarg plus Nether Breath, which is a nice way to bounce back up in health after taking some damage. And you can just see, even just the threat of Cobalt Sticky Finger forces Bloodyface to play differently, right? Because we can see that if he had just played Horde Pillager, oh, okay, he's gonna go for it. All right, I like it.
Yeah, I think so too. It's kind of like a test of like what Language Hacker is doing. He clears off the board. It looks really nice. He shuffles the bomb in. And like it's, you know, Language Hacker's at full hand too, so you know, even though it's likely that he has another opportunity to destroy his weapon, the longer you wait, the more likely it'll be that Language Hacker does draw the weapon removal. You can't just like stall out. What if you think about tempoing out another skipper?
Wow. Ooh.
Oh.
There she blows. It's not a Sticky Finger, though. But Horde Pillager's been used, so Ooze and Sticky Finger after Horde Pillager's been used against a deck that doesn't run Sky Raider, same thing, essentially. Just you can't be counter-aggressive. How do you draw Dr. Krasnov? Yep.
Still not out of it yet. Language Hacker still really happy. Bomb drawn.
The turn before Blastmaster Boom, so
Right.
Language Hacker fist pumping.
He could blast his own Acidic Swamp Ooze to gain some life here. Or after he could play Dragonblight Cultist, then he could play the Moarg and Nether Breath it if he wants to. Right now, part of what I'm actually concerned about is his hand space, because things like Veiled Worshipper are so good, but if you don't have hand space, it ends up becoming kind of a roadblock. And you don't really mind your board being cleared. Plus, it's harder to clear because Bladestorm won't wipe everything.
So many.
Alternatively, you could just double Cultist here.
Yeah.
Or another alternative is you could just actually play the Crazy Netherwing for tempo as a 5/5. But I think I like a Moarg dump here. It's because it's not important. He also has 2, so. Whoa. Double Moarg dump and healing for full. I like it. Oh!
He did draw the Blastmaster Boom.
Things are going Language Hacker's way.
Galakrond, though, that consistent pressure can force the Warlock on the back foot, because unlike Priest, they don't have ways to just consistently heal themselves. You do have to apply meaningful pressure at some point in the game. It's easier when your opponent doesn't have access to armor up anymore, but it gets harder when you think about the fact that you just have a clock on you. R2 defenders help. All right. A lot of control tools available for bloodyface.
Yeah,
Fortunately,
he
Deathwing
has.
Mad Aspect doesn't clear everything off this board. It clears a good portion of it, but no brawl currently. The Blade Storm would deal just straight up 2 damage to everything, but then stop. So it would leave up 2, 4, and 5, 2.
What if?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about if bloodyface is even preoccupied about that. If he like simply wants to take the Deathwing and just leave, like whatever ends up surviving survives, but there's a chance it even clears everything. Okay, Lord Baroth in the Blade Storm. It's also like a guaranteed clear. And you can push 3 damage.
Yeah, doesn't get to keep his Lord Barab because of the Moarg Artificer, which is interesting. Not an interaction we see often because Galakron Warlock's just not played. Alright, Veiled Worshipper picked up. This Galakron is not quite fully invoked yet. Still needs 1, I believe, because he's played 1 Shielded Galakron, 2 Dragonblight Cultists. Sack Pact. Like, I look at it, this deck has so much healing. Sacrificial Pact, double Nether Breath with Moarg Artificer, double Kartut Defender, Kronks can be healing, Alex Strasza can be healing, Galakron is healing. And then on top of that, Zephyrs can also offer you healing.
It's true. Language Hacker has a lot of options to be defensive, and might be just kind of waiting out bloodyface here. Bloodyface could just simply take it slow enough where he feels like instead of trying to simply go for the bomb, maybe just build up a board and have enough tempo to squeeze out Language Hacker that require him to be able to win the board here. But the issue is that the other side of Galakron Warlock is when they have a lot of healing, but they also have a ton of removal.
Yep. And at a certain point in the game, they can also apply a lot of pressure. Language Hacker still comfortably at 30. Okay, that plus Dragonblight Cultists are the final 2 invokes. To get this Galakron fully juiced.
Yep. Language Hacker can just easily use any of his removal here. If he wants to get tempo, he could play Dragonblight Cultist and Plague of Flames. Then follow up with pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Sacrificial Pact to dump hands, so you can play the Veiled Worshipper afterwards. Okay, I can dig it.
Yeah.
Guess he had the opportunity to life tap as well, but then he would be at full cards. Okay. Yeah, now he's big chillin'. Your move.
Language Hacker definitely incentivized to win this game quickly. Because if he just kind of waits this out and doesn't draw cards, he can get whittled down by the hero power. And he does have tools in the game. He has Zephyrs, he has Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. The weapon from just a fully invoked Galakron itself.
Yeah, I'm kind of liking a Deathwing and just push the damage here.
Yeah.
They're going to just use some hard removal. They also threw away a little bit of their resources to heal, and it kind of indicates that they want to start setting up a board. And if they have a big board, Deathwing does noticeably worse, especially if they play Galakron. I guess maybe in some ways worse, some ways better. Like worse as in like you have less chance that you stick a minion, but better is when you get to kill more targets. The other side of it is that bloodyface could also just not choose to do that and remove the hard way using his own face. Okay, so he's trying to go through the plan of slow setup and dragging this out late into the game. Maybe he also feels like because Language Hacker is so much deeper in Fatigue that the onus might be on Language Hacker to start presenting stuff to do, otherwise he's going to take Fatigue damage because he's 3 cards deeper in the deck. And if I'm Language Hacker, I'm probably more comfortable about extending a little bit more onto the board here. Like 2 Devoted Maniacs is kind of okay, or like one Shield of Galakron and a Devoted Maniac. Anything that kind of simply gets the Galakron fully invoked and also threatens the opponent enough.
Yep. Forces out removal. And Bloodyface is worried about every board state, because at this point in the game, Zephyrus is very likely active. You have a board up, you die to Bloodlust. Zephyrus is active. Language Hacker does not have it yet. But there's only 6 cards left in his deck.
Yeah, well,
So,
I mean, this is an opportunity for the Deathwing to come out from Bloodyface's side as well. We kind of talked about how he can collect a lot more value. Killing 6 minions on the board is pretty hard to ask Deathwing to do more and survive. So I like it here. Is there a better line here from Bloodyface that you can spot? Because I'm pretty sure Bloodyface could talk about it more, but he wants to find what's even a better play than the Deathwing. Dr. Krasnov. Alright, so Dr. Krasnov, Goblin Blackie, right?
then what? Push damage?
Right.
So this brings him up to 24. There is 4, 5, 6 on board.
Yeah,
15.
plus 15.
Bloodlust would be 21.
Plus
He's not
another
dead
breath.
to Zephyrus Bloodlust. He is dead to Zephyrus Bloodlust Nether Breath. No Zephyrus drawn.
Okay, so Bloodyface is saving Deathwing because he anticipates that he's going to need that Deathwing later in that game. I think it's his last good source of removal because Blazestorm does not seem very reliable, so he's going to hold on to it. Wow, using
Or
Nether
keep
Breath
pushing damage.
on this Armor Smith, though. That's a lot of respect being shown for the armor game. Language Hacker going for the Cobalt Sticky Finger as well. Kind of giving Bloodyface a little bit more comfort in order to utilize any other opportunity to get weapons. I don't know if he actually does, though. I don't think he has any other weapons. Does he, TJ?
He has a Wrench Caliber.
Okay, so he does have one Wrench Caliber.
But
And I think Bloodyface wants
Language
to
Hacker
swing
also
with
has
it
a
when he
Cobalt
knows he
Sticky
can get the bomb to detonate.
Yeah.
Okay, is now the time to play Deathwing. This is definitely one of those interesting things because you have Kronks. Kronks can clear, but you can also use Kronks to deal damage. And I think that is something that Bloodyface is considering.
You are too late. His return is nigh.
5 damage AoE, push to 3. Still waiting for the opportunity to shuffle a bomb in. The second Cobalt Sticky Finger comes into hand. So Bloodyface knows, very likely with 4 cards remaining in the deck, that there's still more weapon removal. He's going to probably go for a swing, go for a Blastmaster, a Bladestorm. that would be the finish of potentially whatever happens with this game or this series. Bloodyface, if he loses here, he is done with his round robin stage at 2-5, and he is in that relegation bracket. lnguahackr improves to a 4-3. The Galakron summons Nightshade Matron. But more importantly, lnguahackr is pushing damage to try to end the game here. And he doesn't have a good way to remove this Kronks unless he wants to use Plague of Flames.
Just leave this as is, I think. I think the question is whether or not you hero power play around Brawl. Bloodyface still has both his Brawls in the bottom of his deck.
Right.
Brawl's upgrade. Oh man.
What about?
It's looking real unlikely here that Bloodyface to squeeze this one out. Maybe Witchy Lackey?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No.
I'm gonna give you at 7 though.
Yeah, and you're staring at lethal, right? You have to kill off this giant.
Yeah.
Which means that it's Deathwing. Otherwise, he's going to die.
Yep.
Oh, is he going for Deathwing after he attacks the face here? He's gonna just completely hope that Deathwing targets only enemy minions. Oh no!
That'll do it.
That's it. lnguahackr wins 3-1. Successful lineup targeting here, working out for lnguahackr, and going to improve to a 4-3. It does come at the cost of former teammate Bloodyface, who is one of the most consistent performers in all of Hearthstone. Definitely the top consistent performer in Americas, but he will end his round robin stage in that relegation bracket, 2-5. Sole possessor of last place in Division A.
Yep.
But job well done, lnguahackr.
Yeah. Nicely done. He'll secure 3rd seed in Division A, which jumped up quite a bit after what was kind of a rough start. And what that also means is, one, Monsanto is safe. Monsanto will now finish 6th seed, so right outside that relegation bracket. And it does mean that our first match for that relegation bracket